there, this is John with Heroes and Legends, and today we're going to look at a couple Magic Origins leaks. These are possible spoilers, but at this time they are not confirmed spoilers. One of these cards actually leaked a few weeks back, but just didn't seem very credible, and at this point I haven't talked about it. The other one emerged more recently, so let's go ahead and take a look. The first one is Chandra Fire of Kaladesh, and this flips to Chandra Roaring Flame, the Planeswalker version. So when you look at this card, this is the one that's been around for a few weeks, and what made it not super credible was a couple things. The first one being some folks were a little suspect on the art, especially the art on the left, where Chandra is really not in the center of the frame, almost kind of in the background of the photo. Just an unusual picture if you're trying to showcase Chandra. But also, too, if you look at things like the copyright at the bottom of the legendary creature side, it actually says 2014, where on the Planeswalker side it says 2015. Obviously, 2014 would be incorrect. That'd be very unusual. The other thing that's odd is the typeset. Chandra Fire of Kaladesh is written all the way down to the end of the line near the mana cost. Typically, if a card has a long name, the typeset will bring it down a little bit, so there's a little bit of space between the name and the mana cost, so that just seems very unusual for their spacing in these cards. There's a few things that do support it. If you look at the card number, for example, 135 of 272 is very credible for a core set. It's going to fall somewhere around 44 cards per color. Yeah, that makes sense. And the other thing that was kind of the reason this sort of became more credible this week is there's an article released on the Magic the Gathering website that talks about the Magic Origins Planeswalkers and a little bit about them and how there's going to be stories about them released over the next month or so. And they revealed, quote unquote, supposedly for the first time, that Chandra was originally from a place called Kaladesh. Now, this card picture came out before that article came out that gave the name Kaladesh. So that's why I wanted to take a minute to talk about this card. Maybe it's more plausible than we thought it was. However, in the past, Wizards has had articles that were, I don't know, quote unquote hacked. That's probably not really the right word. But a lot of times they'll take articles, they'll put them on web pages, and people find them. Usually this happens around spoiler season, where a article's filed and it's placed somewhere that's not on the regular site or linked, and somehow someone gets in there and finds it and spoils a card early because it was sitting in a web page somewhere. This could have happened. Somebody could have found the word Kaladesh and created this card from that information. That's very possible, and you never know. The reason I was kind of suspect about this card, though, is it just seemed not very powerful. If you look at it, we saw the Liliana card that's been spoiled, and that seems like a very strong card. This one just seems kind of, I don't know, hard to make work. She's a pinger, but you'd have to cast 2 red spells on your turn to even make it possible to flip her. And sure, there may be some cheap red spells. I mean, economical red spells are the norm, right? So it's not impossible, but it just seems very difficult to pull off. And then once you do flip her, after all that work, she doesn't do a whole lot. Her +1 deals 2 damage to target player, so you don't even have the flexibility of player, creature, and or planeswalker. And then the -2 ability just seems also a little bit kind of drab, considering it's -2 to do 2 damage to a target creature. It just seems kind of odd to me. Now, it is a core set, so it may be designed to be a simpler planeswalker than some that we see in other sets, but at the same time, it just didn't seem like it had the wow factor for me for this set, especially when they're really building up to these planeswalkers and these flip cards as being something special. So take a look. Let me know in the comments what you think, if you think this is for real or if you don't. I'm not 100% sold on this one. I don't think this is legit personally, but I guess time will tell. Now the next one I kind of do believe, but it's not a spectacular card that's going to floor you or anything, but it's Eagle of the Watch. And it costs 3. It's a 2/1 flyer with vigilance, and that's it. It's a common, and this was spoiled from, I guess, a method that's happened a number of times in the past. Basically, somebody opens a booster pack, and unfortunately in the posting, it didn't say if it was a Modern Masters booster pack or Dragons of Tarkir. or which pack they got this out of, but somebody opens a booster pack and guess what? There's a card in there from a future set. And that's happened quite a few times. And for a while, that was almost the norm. You almost expected it from, maybe a few weeks before spoiler season that someone was going to open and it was always a common or uncommon, it seemed, from the coming set. So this is what apparently happened here. This card looks very legit, but one thing you will notice when you look at the card numbers, 275 of 272. And for core sets, that's normal. One of the practices they've had for a number of years in core sets is intro packs will have cards that aren't included in the core set boosters. And typically, these are, in the past, they've been cards that are kind of either bland or vanilla cards. They're good for new players, but they're not necessarily something that you need to make your standard decks work. A lot of times they're old cards reprinted, cards like Nightmare that are fun cards, but maybe not necessarily cards that longtime collectors need any more copies of or really planning to do anything with. So now if that's the case, this is one of those intro deck exclusive cards. And it's not a reprint that I'm aware of. I don't believe it is. So I take it for what it's worth. This one feels legit to me. I don't know if I've ever been a big fan of having the intro pack exclusive cards personally. I just like the fact that you'd be able to open all the cards in the boosters, but it is what it is. And this one looks like, I think this one's legit. So let me know your thoughts in the comments below for these two cards, if you think these are real or not real. And as always, thanks for watching. Please remember to like and subscribe, and have a great day. Hey, thanks as always for watching. If you're still looking for quality Magic the Gathering videos, click on one of these annotations. And if you haven't had a chance yet to subscribe, smash that subscribe button so you don't miss any of the breaking MTG news, spoilers, set reviews, crazy product openings, or gameplay videos on Heroes and Legends MTG. Talk to you again soon, and have a great day.